Well, I'm using Airtel, so I think Airtel should work on their data, their connectivity. The network is not so clear. Maybe. So now, like I was saying, good afternoon once again. This is our sixth, I think, yeah, sixth live stream about sustainable development goals. Now, I was saying that the reason as to why we decided to make these sustainable development goals is because there are so many people who don't understand what they are, who don't know what sustainable development goals mean, actually even definition. So the reason as to why we are making this live stream is because we want to make people aware of what sustainable development goals are, how they can be part of them, then how they can contribute to ensure that sustainable development goals are achieved. Just as an introduction purpose, today we are going to be short. The duration is going to be about 6 minutes, or 16 to 20 minutes. But just as the reason of introduction, sustainable development goals, these are the 17 global initiatives to ensure improvement in the world. They ensure that they leave no one behind. We have been doing this. We did the first goal, the second goal, the third goal, the fourth one, the fifth of recent, which was gender equality. And today we are doing water and sanitation. Now, I will need so much your input still, because I do believe that with water and sanitation, as we talk about them, possibly there is someone who will see it, either be helped, they know their input, or a leader somewhere will see it, or a department will see it, or a ministry will try to build onto this. We plan that at the end of these sustainable development goals, sorry for the noise, but we believe that at the end of the sustainable development goals live streams, we shall be going to particular communities and articulate exactly what are these things on the ground. So, as we are discussing these goals, I always want us to, one, appreciate what the government has done. If you have an example in a community or in a district about this particular goal as we discuss of it, then we see the weaknesses where government has not done best, then the challenges to ensure, to recommend to government so that it can do best in that particular goal. In that particular goal we're discussing about. So today I'm going to welcome your ideas about water and sanitation. What is your understanding of water and sanitation? What is your contribution? What do you think has been done, and what do you think has not yet been done? What do you think can be done? Because I really felt that so many people have good inputs, so many people have good examples, so many people have good ideas, but sometimes they don't even know how to apply these ideas. For example, someone may have an initiative to understand how better to make quality water accessible to all and to ensure hygiene and sanitation, but then they don't know how they can bring up their ideas. So I think with these engagements, after live streams, all the 17, we are going to go on the ground and we start holding focus group discussions in key areas or key districts of this country until we believe by 2030, when they are reviewing these sustainable development goals, we shall have contributed to their fulfillment. Now, when we talk about water and sanitation, what comes at the back of your mind? What do you understand? What is your input? What do you think we are meaning? If someone says we are going to talk about water, then and sanitation, what comes in your mind? Because ideally, I think it is not only about the water, but also the clean water. So there are people who would receive the water, but it's not clean. And we say that if people receive water, as much as they receive water, but it's not clean, that makes the intervention, that makes their lives a little bit hard. They cannot easily contribute to the eradication of poverty. Yes, my friend Enoch, my OB, you're welcome. We are talking about water and sanitation, Enoch. So you can give us also your input about this goal. I'm trying to make a more deep awareness and sensitization about these goals. And this live stream is goal number 6, which is clean water and sanitation. Now, different reports are come out accordingly. For example, I have here an abstract from UNDP, and they're saying that water scarcity affects more than 40% of the people around the world. Now, it is an alarming figure, and that is projected to increase with the rise of global temperatures as a result of climate change. Although 2.1 billion people have gained access to improved water sanitation since 1990, the supplies of safe water is a major problem impacting every continent. Now, in our several places, people access water, but the question is the water clean? And if the water is clean, can everyone afford the clean water? Because we see that if people cannot access clean water, that means they will still be affected by all these other things, challenges, and still we can't fight poverty. Remember, at the back of your mind when we are negotiating or discussing about sustainable development goals, the vision is no one should be left behind. So if a few people can access clean water, then what of others? Okay? So I really need input into this particular one. Now, there are several things we see coming up on board, and we see piped water. Is piped water in every district in Uganda? I wish someone is in different districts and then they tell us if piped water is in all. Then two, is it affordable? What is the rate? And in comparison to the income levels of our people, what is the rate of the water over every liter? How better do you think people can access this? If I have engineers, still if engineers see this, they will tell us what is the procedure of constructing boreholes, and then how much does it cost? Is the borehole a safe water source? Now, these are some of the things, if I have engineers and doctors, they would give us an insight about hygiene and sanitation of the borehole water. So now, we have different initiatives that National Water and Sewage Corporation has brought up on board, like water payment. I think it's a card. You go to a stall place, then you put in a card and you pay. I don't know how much a liter is. Each liter of water or a jerrycan, I think they measure a liter. But is that, do you think that would be a direct path to help people access clean water? Now that is the question that we can have right now to ourselves. Then we've seen extension of water to different districts. I don't know how far it has gone in north, west. I think west in Barra it is there because they have a plant. Does National Water have a center, a substation in every region? Now, these are some of the questions we would help, and then first appreciate what government has done, then we critique it, and then recommend what we think it can do to make water accessible to all. Now, there is a challenge in some parts of Uganda in particular where people had cases, I think in Karamoja, but I think it's reducing, where people had what we call open defecating. Now, this one's one it affects the hygiene and it contaminates the water bodies. And as a result, this water is not clean. And therefore, it will affect people's lives. People are going to fall sick. People are going to suffer from different infections as a result of unhygienic water. Now, what also do you think has contributed to a reduction of clean water in areas? Because if we have instances of climate change, do you think, is it only the government to contribute about climate change? Don't you think as we citizens we can do something? And if you think we can do something, what do you think is that particular thing we can do to ensure that we control or normalize the climate change? Because when global temperatures rise, definitely they affect the water bodies, and these are sources. We know the cycle for rain formation. Now, we've seen so many forests go. We've seen so much of the deforestation, and as a result, definitely it's affecting the supply of water. It is affecting us deeply. So we need really to understand, what do you think as government? What do you think as public? What do you think as citizens? What do you think we can all do to ensure supply of clean water to our people? Now, I'm looking at, we have forecasts for 20, let me try to get them here just a little bit, but if you get some point to share, then you can share with us. Some of us have heard about what we call WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene. So many NGOs are trying to drive this to ensure that sanitation is realized and clean water in the communities. I think it's more challenged even with places that have so many people or are so much congested, or it is quite so much common in those areas because they don't have a proper maybe drainage system, and then all this other thing. So let's look at the project. Okay, clean water and sanitation facts. I really want also to quote exactly where we are getting such a report, so that we are not caught offside. I'm going to share with you about 10 facts about water and sanitation according to Rediff Web. The first one is top secrets. If you really want to see more, okay. No, let me get closer to Uganda in context. Yeah, but if you get facts about water and sanitation, please, you can share with us. There are boreholes that have been dug. Then there are then we have piped water, we have paid water, we have people planting trees to ensure the ecosystem goes back to normal. Do you think some of these are things that can help improve this goal? And then, what do you think we as the people, the public, can do to ensure clean water and sanitation? Okay, now I'm going to get, just as we're about to wind up, I'm going to get just an extract from Uganda Village Project. They were talking about the WASH. You see, one of the things they are discussing here is some of the water sources they had, and according to this report of 2009, Uganda Village Project. Thank you so much for this file, they're talking of different things in the WASH program, and they're saying under the health, the issue is poor sanitation and hygiene is a cross-cutting health condition in all rural Ugandan villages. They're saying that poor sanitation leads to diarrheal diseases, which are responsible for 17% of all deaths of children under 5, according to World Food Health Organization, WHO. Poor personal and household hygiene can lead to trachoma, increased rates of infection, and a number of other diseases. A home with standing water can become a breeding ground for mosquitoes and increase malaria rates, not just for that family, but for the neighbors at large. Now, I just want us, even when we don't have sources of water, kids, there are communities where children have first to go collect water how many kilometers before they go to school. So that means they are not going to attend like others do, simply because they don't have, they tell them, hey, you have to do this before you go to school. You have to collect water for the cows. You have to collect water for home, otherwise you won't find food. We know that it's there. Village project, Uganda Village Project also talks about latrine coverage and says that over 70 healthy families were chosen partially on a basis of having very poor latrine coverage, a condition that increases the prevalence of cholera, dysentery, worms, and many other diarrheal diseases. We conduct sanitation pushes, innovation, and inclusion campaigns to increase latrine coverage and sanitation measures in our villages. These campaigns involve 4 steps. 1, village enterprise conducts a pre-campaign and a post-campaign household survey to determine the increase in coverage for its sanitation improvement, and follows up with households to help finish the long projects, such as latrine construction. This is a good idea. Thank you so much, Uganda Village Project. This is a good idea, because when latrines are not, and so many communities out there don't have pit latrines, this affects their hygiene, and this brings diseases not only to them but to the subsequent places. Now, this latrine construction may not be entirely government. It comes back to you and me as the public. As much as sensitization may come, so many NGOs like our brothers in the Uganda Village Project come up to sensitize the public about this. This goes back to you, me and you. What can we do? These are some of the campaigns we are going to take on ground. I believe after the completion of these 17 goals, I am going to start going to communities and try to emphasize a point according to what we see. There are places in places I was in, places like Mbara, there are places where they don't have actual pit latrines. Yes, because their water base is near. So the latrines are in the water base. Now, using it, that means that all the wastes are going to the water, which water will drag into the drainage system, and this is the water people take, the water people use. Now, all as individuals, we have to do something about this to ensure we have a steady flow and a healthier community. So many, I think under the Ministry of Water, let me first finish the latrine coverage, then we see a little bit on the Ministry of Water. Uganda Village Project, also we work with our communities to increase model household. The village health teams demonstrate all the sanitation improvement at their own homes, including tidy taps, latrines, plate stand, drainage system for cooking areas, and rubbish pit. Yes, just like in the farming sector, they have demonstration farms. We can make this more deeper. And when we Thank you so much, Uganda Village Project, so that this can be extended to many, many more. We can do it. I believe we can do this. We can do it together, and we can sensitize people. We can push to them. We can get demonstration places. So you and me joining hands, we can make this a change. It does not have to start with 1,000. It starts with 1, 2, 3, and change can be seen. So I urge you in all different aspects in your capacities, please. Then next, we gather teams of high schools and university students, local government officials, Uganda Village Enterprise staff, and the community village enterprise teams for sanitation campaign. Each team works on one neighborhood for the village. Great. I'm privileged to be part of the participants that are going to celebrate, to join UMI while celebrating 50 years. But in one of the things we plan to do is corporate social responsibility. I think this is a great deal. This is a great deal, and it extends to all communities so that people are sensitized. So many people, even in high school, even maybe in universities, don't know so much about the sustainable development goals. When a project comes, it's like, maybe that is not ours, that is theirs. No, it is ours. So there is a lot of gap in terms of capacity building, in terms of awareness, in terms of training, that needs to be bridged. You can do something. I believe you who is watching this or who will watch this, you can do something in a community to ensure that there is cleanness, there is hygiene, there is clean water access. All right, now I'm going to do something here. I'm just getting one other extract from Ministry of Water and see what they say here. But otherwise, we should try our level best to ensure that we advise, even when you go in communities, in villages. Please try to advise how plates should be aligned. Try to advise on washing hands. Try always to advise, so that we have a better Uganda, and no one should be left behind in this campaign. We want by 2013, trust me, we would have created an impact in the community, and we are counting on you and me to create this impact. Okay, so now I have here the Ministry of Water and Sanitation. I'm seeing here the profiles of the minister. We have Honorable Sam Cheptorich, Minister of Water and Environment. We have the State Minister of Water, Honorable Ronald Chibude. We have Minister of State Minister for Environment, Honorable Mary Goretti Chitutu. Then we have Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water, Mr. Alfred Okot. Now, let me look at some of the projects that the ministry is having. I'm seeing here ongoing project. All right. Now, according to the Ministry of Wow, this is amazing. This is nice. Okay. According to the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, they have so many ongoing projects here. Let me look at one called the Resettlement Policy Framework, RPF, and we see what exactly they have for us as the country, so that we can fully participate in. They're saying the government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Water, and Environment, with support from the World Bank, is preparing the Irrigation Development and Climate Resilience Project. Okay. The development objective of the proposed project is to increase agricultural productivity and institutional capacity for irrigation services delivery in targeted areas of Uganda. They are saying the ministry has prepared the resettlement policy framework for the irrigation development and climate change project. Okay. The objective of this is to set out the policies, principles, institutional arrangements, schedule, and indicate budgets that will take care of any unexpected impact that will arise out of the acquisition of land for project infrastructure. Okay, yeah, irrigation makes sense. Yeah, irrigation is a better deal. We really need to look at this framework and see how it is. We can and see how we can be part of. Let me look at just the completed projects. So many projects are running. So I call upon the Ministry of Water and Sanitation on this such a day that involvement of the community, involvement of the public is key. What we call the participatory nature of doing things, it's good because it enables ownership, sustainability, and it creates a bondage and relationship. So once all these are being done, please, I call upon every ministry that we will be talking about in all our live streams, please engage as much as you can, engage the communities so that we can fully support and sensitize the public about all these things. Okay, definitely the Ministry of Water and Sanitation has so many partners. Others I may not see there in full then, but we have UNICEF, we have Adaptation Fund, we have GIS, we have KFW, we have BTC, we have JICA, we have UNDP, we have Australia Development Agency, we have the World Bank. Yes, these are some of the partners that really help Ministry of Water and Sanitation to extend clean water and emphasize sanitation to Ugandans and in a whole. Then lastly, as I'm winding up, please keep your comments coming in about water and sanitation. What do you think can be done? Where do you think is the challenge? Is it people don't reach the last person? Do people reach the last person to know what their needs are before they initiate these projects, or they don't? Now, how better do you think we can make this for the entire Uganda in general? We shouldn't leave it to only government. We are part of the government. We make the composition of the government. So please, let's try our level best to ensure that we do our the best. Yes, I'm seeing Norman, my brother, he's saying, bro, keep up the good work. I love you here from Abu Dhabi. Yes, Norman, how is work? How is everything? Thanks for being on. We are just trying to discuss about water and sanitation, and we are coming to the close of it, but you can keep points coming in. What do you think Uganda has done, or the world has done, or Africa has done to ensure sustainable development goal number 6 about water and sanitation? That is one. Then 2, where do you think are the challenges that it's facing to ensure this completion or this come to reality? Because these goals are going to be reviewed in 2030. So we want us to be counted. We want us to contribute to 2030 so that when they are counted, they shall know that this was the contribution that people put. And it is part of us. It's to our benefit as well. Now, goal number 7, next weekend, we are going to be talking about the access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. So next weekend, we're going to be talking about goal number 7, which is energy. So energy is all about, we want to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. I think if you have a friend or a person you know that works in that sector, please, you can let me know and we see if we can have them join our discussion always. So I will try to, if we can get a person in the Ministry of Energy or in Umeme, it would be a good, or in even forestry, yes, NFA, it would be a plus for this live stream. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. On Saturday, we're going to, next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, I'll communicate. We're going to have this. Continue the discussion and please prepare and join us as we will be reaching to the local community, start to sensitize them. I'll be going to the local communities with people that will be available and we try to sensitize them, make focus group discussions, and all of them will be live streamed. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.